Warning: the following podcast contains irreverent humor, exceptionally nerdy opinions, potential cursing, and plenty of love for the prequels. If any of the preceding offends you, please turn off this podcast immediately, and may the Force be with you.
Why, you stuck-up, half-witted, scruffy-looking nerf herder!
You can't use that word! Only we can use that word!
It's time for the Jedi to end.
You're tuned in to the Nerf Herder Council, your source for Star Wars opinion, conversation, and debate, featuring your hosts, JT. I mean, they killed his mother. What's he supposed to do? Send him a postcard? I wish you wouldn't have done that. AJ.
Well, if you don't remember something you already saw, that does not count as a spoiler. That counts as you not paying attention.
Steve.
It's like what was it, Force Friday at Toys R Us last year? It's just everybody's normal, and then something about microphones, and everything's lit now.
On this episode of the Nerf Herder Council, could The Last Jedi turn the character of Luke Skywalker on its ear? And why will Star Wars fans pay any price for Star Wars merchandise?
This is the Nerf Herder Council.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Nerf Herder Council. I'm your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. And for this one, we didn't really have a focused topic that we wanted to talk about. We had a whole bunch of general ideas. So we're going to kind of bring a lot of stuff to the table tonight and just kind of roll with it and see where it goes.
Yeah, we could have one topic for the entire show. We could have like 15.
Yeah, it's going to be a discussion about all things Star Wars. And, you know, off mic, we were talking about Mr. Slave from South Park. So,
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So that started the show off on a rollicking little odd bit of banter. So Steve's looking at Porgs.
On his computer screen. Just click on a picture of Porgs.
Like,
too.
Why is there so much stuff about Porgs, man? Like, I mean,
because they're fluffy and people love them. And generally in 2017, the lowest common denominator will gravitate towards the stupidest thing you possibly could. So how much of all the things that everybody could have jumped on with the promo we got for The Force Awakens, or I looked at a TFA thing like 20 seconds ago. I'm sorry. But for The Last Jedi, people are just like, oh, yeah, the fuzzy thing. Yes.
I swear to God, the Porgs are probably going to be one step above Constable Zuvio. They're all over the marketing right now, and all the websites have like multi-angle 3D pictures of Porgs, and they'll be in the movie for like 30 seconds.
I'm calling smokescreen on the whole thing.
Like they're not even going to be in there at all?
They're in there, but everyone's distracted with the Porgs right now. No one's talking about plot.
True.
No one's talking about anything else. They've got everybody obsessed with Porgs, so no one is realizing that they haven't told us about the movie.
Oh, don't say that, because if you listen to our last episode, you know damn well that I ain't falling for that. I know they haven't told us crap. That's why I ranted about that behind the scenes thing.
Okay, I know how much you hate the Porgs right now, so let's just hypothetical here. Worst Star Wars movie ever, but the Porg comes on screen and just gets like annihilated by a lightsaber or something like that. Is that good enough to make you enjoy the movie, even if it's the worst Star Wars movie you've ever seen?
And I don't have a problem with Porgs. It's just they're everywhere. And you know, I was thinking, because
you don't have a problem with Porgs, nobody else had to hear the editing I had to do for the last show. You certainly have a problem with Porgs.
I just have a problem with only people only talking about Porgs when there could have been a trailer. That's all. You know, I wonder, because they're like, the Porgs are on Ahch-To, and by the Millennium Falcon, are they gonna like digitally put a bunch of bird crap on the Millennium Falcon?
Porg crap.
Yeah, porg crap.
Porgs are like space rats or something like that they just took over the Falcon. You know, they're just chewing through wires and stuff like that.
What if Luke Skywalker, the First Order, discovers where he is?
I got some bad news for you, dude.
What?
The Porgs aren't on the Falcon. They're in it.
Get out of here.
Look at entertainmentweekly.com. They released a whole bunch of new photos, and there's one of Chewbacca and a Porg in the cockpit.
So Chewbacca has a pet force bird.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
There she is.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
Oh, isn't it cute?
Really, Entertainment Weekly. Can we have
really
more?
don't
Can we
know.
have more pop-ups?
I really don't know how I feel about this.
Oh,
I'm
God.
looking
Thank
at
you,
that
Thank you
picture
for
like-
speaking over me too, because I was really about to drop some really bad words and you stopped me from it.
I know we're not usually news-based, but I could go through these photos and, well, kind of complain about some of them, actually.
Well, that's kind of where we started. By the way, I want to make one point. There's something I've been picturing. It's not really a point, but do you think like if the First Order discovers where Luke Skywalker is, they could do like an Indiana Jones kind of flashback and have Skywalker on the beach as the TIE fighters are coming in, and there's all these porgs, and he starts chasing them, making noise with a lightsaber, and they fly up and mess up the TIE fighters, and they crash and everything. Kind of like a Indiana Jones in the Last Crusade.
Oh, that'd be great.
With like the seagulls.
The porgs are Luke's secret weapon. He's going to get cornered and he's just going to go, ta-da, and throw a porg out.
He sucks with the force anymore.
And
So
all
he
the
has to use
first order
birds.
guys are going to be like, oh, and Luke's just going to sneak off and probably trip down a mountain or something like that.
Luke's turned into a callous old piece of crap that can't use the force. Instead, he just murders a load of birds to kill opponents. It's like, everyone's like, oh, look how cute those are. Ah, oh my God.
Ray goes to the other side of the island and Luke just has the old school Mike Tyson pigeon coop. And it's just full of porgs.
Right.
Luke's just a crotchety old man. He's just got them all named. He's like, that one's Craig and that one's that's Luke Jr.
Either that or he's training Ray, and all of a sudden like a porg just
You
flies
see
out
that
of nowhere
one-
looking all cute.
You see
And-
the one I plucked all the feathers off? That's Ben. Him.
he's just training Ray, and out of nowhere a porg flies down on a rock like 20 meters to his left, and without even looking, he pulls out a blaster and just blows it away. And she's like, "What the heck?" And he looks over and goes, "What? There's no womp rats on this planet, man. I got to target something." And I don't even have a T-16 anymore. Like, come on, man. Porgs are target practice. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to use porgs. Like, they're going to be super cute, just decimate them.
Ray's training. Paul! And Luke just chucks one up in the air and she throws the lightsaber at it.
It's all like tied down to itself, making like the cutest like struggling noises ever. And you're like, I can't believe I'm seeing this. It's just like it's like Rian Johnson's subtle commentary against animal abuse. He's using The Last Jedi to get up on a soapbox.
Lines them up like bowling pins. They're just tossing rocks at him.
If that's the case, prepare to get blood thrown at you at the premiere by PETA members.
Porgs matter. Porgs matter. They're fake, god damn it. Like
The PLM movement.
Porg lives matter. By the way, I'm looking at that picture.
You know what? If that happens, I'm going to block a highway.
We're all political and stuff tonight.
I'm going to get my point across.
By the way, I'm looking at this picture of the Porg in the cockpit with Chewbacca. They're bigger than I thought they were.
That could be
It's
that
a
could be
forced
pointed.
perspective.
Yeah, I was going to say
Is
it could
it?
be perspective.
Chewbacca's all blurry in there, so he's like farther back in the field of vision.
Even still, they're bigger than I
Or the
thought they were.
Porg's sitting on a couple of phone books, one of the two.
Well, they said that
And
One of the
Porg would be sitting in Han's seat, according to this picture here,
yeah.
leaving a nice Porg deuce right there on Han's seat. How does that make you feel?
Porg deuce.
Chewie's trying to fly. The Porg is just like just dropping little deer pellets on Han's seat.
That's going to be the next release. The next leak is we had the leak of Porg art and official Porgs. Now we're going to see Porg crap art and then official Porg crap.
It's going to be the cutest little turds you've ever seen.
They just look like Tic Tacs, but they're brown.
Because it's futuristic. It looks like deer crap, but it's actually, instead of like little round things, they're going to look like rhombuses.
No, you know what? Exact opposite. Looking at that thing probably takes Wookiee-sized dumps.
Right. What if they're like Nibbler from Futurama?
Yeah.
And like the resistance bombers kicking up all that red stuff on Crate, that's actually just a whole legion of Porg.
Oh my God.
It's exhaust. It's exhaust because the things are fueled from Porg excrement.
Yeah. Jeez, oh man.
Like the black matter in Futurama.
So this is what happens when we don't have a set topic. No, I mean, seriously.
Do you think they serve them on the casino planet? And the
Canto Bite?
Yeah, so the marketing is Porg, the other bite meat.
Oh, you did not go there. You did not just do that. Oh, come on! Did you really make a Canto Bite pun? Are you serious?
5 minutes I was waiting for an opening.
That's the first time ever in a Star Wars podcast that's ever happened. So congratulations, AJ. Congratulations.
Wow. No, but if I could make a serious comment on the perspective,
you'd be on a different show.
One of the things that they said about the Porgs is that one of the scenes they know is in there is like some cute scene of a Porg coming to rest on R2.
Oh, yeah.
So if that thing looks like he's about a quarter of the size of Chewbacca, that's a pretty damn big bird to be landing on R2. So I really wonder like what that picture is like. You know, we're talking about pictures from Entertainment Weekly, by the way, that just came out.
Yeah, EU.com.
Yeah, EU.com. Can we start there, since that's one of the things we were talking about before we got on air, which is what kind of led us to start doing this? The Praetorian Guards, Snoke's personal guards, the red ones. I don't know. I really don't know how I feel about those.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the bastard love child of a Shogun warrior and a royal guard.
Yeah, to me, I actually commented on an article on Facebook today about it, where they had, you know, the freeze frame picture of them, and I hate to say this, but it to me it looks like the first time you've seen a Star Wars design that really looks like they're trying too hard. It's like, here's this new thing, and it just doesn't. I don't know.
The whole aesthetic of the sequel trilogy is still kind of sinking in with me. It seems very contemporary rather than timeless like the original designs.
Yeah.
As soon as they admitted that the whole First Order aesthetic was like, the thought experiment was, let's take the Empire and give it the design aesthetic of Apple. I'm like, that's hitting too close to home. It's not seeming like fantasy anymore.
Otherworldly.
Yeah. Like you could totally swap out the First Order Stormtrooper with the guards, or the whatever they call the dudes in the Hunger Games.
I've never seen those movies.
Protectors, or Steve, you've seen those, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like they're wearing white plastic armor just like the First Order Stormtroopers, and they're all like sleek looking because it's, you know, future Earth basically. It just kind of, the aesthetic of all this stuff is starting to fall a little bit too far into popular culture instead of pulling from, you know, back in history like the original trilogy did.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. It does seem like a try too hard, these guys are supposed to look like old school samurai and not even very good ones kind of thing going on there.
At some point with these helmets,
the helmet is what I think ruins it. The rest of the, you know, neck down, it doesn't look bad. It does look like a samurai type outfit, but the helmet seems like it's like they designed it really nice, and then they got up to the neck and they just got sick of working on it.
Yeah, they got tired of the project,
and they were like, let's just put a salad bowl on his head and some fencing or something on the front of it. And
I just look at these things and I'm like, at some point, like, I know you suspend disbelief. It's a whole nother universe. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to go, how do these guys see anything? Like, they're starting to get the eye holes are like paper thin. It's like,
I said it before
hell?
we started recording. It looks like the visor from the dude from Star Trek, the Reading Rainbow guy.
Yeah, right.
I can't remember his name.
Geordie LaForge.
Yeah.
I just expect to see him like walking up to people like looking all tough, but then they look up and then they look down, they look up because they're trying to go, just trying to get a good eye level of something because they can't see a damn thing.
That's exactly what the cosplayers are going to be doing.
Yeah, seriously. So I don't know. I mean, it's cool. It's going to be interesting to see because the stuff that they've, you know, leaked about Snoke is that he's in a yellow robe kind of a thing. So you're going to have these bright red guards, and then you're going to have this, you know, Snoke in a yellow robe, and it's so
Snoke's
I don't know.
basically in his pajamas, I think.
Yeah, it almost kind of seems that way.
I mean,
I don't know.
wouldn't you be? I mean, if you're that powerful, why get dressed? Who's going to tell you otherwise?
He doesn't even care. It's like, I'm not getting out of bed. I'm all carved up and crap. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to wear pajamas. So, you know, I
Actually, looking at that dude's face, he has earned the right to be comfortable.
Yeah, I would say so. You know, I didn't even look at these pictures, by the way. I saw the Praetorian Guard one, and that's the only one that I saw.
Well, here, I'll give my quick spoiler-filled review of these photos. So, Finn and Rose on a mission to Canto Bight. So, Finn is alive. Okay, there's a spoiler. Rey.
Alive.
Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
Another picture of Rey. Still alive.
All right. We're still going good here.
Oh, and she looks mildly upset. So apparently something goes not her way in this movie.
That's not good.
Boo.
All right, I'm done.
Porg with Chewie in the cockpit of the
Okay,
Falcon.
I'm not done yet. There we go.
I think Porg is actually the new captain. Like Rey just hitches a ride on the Falcon. I think the Porg is the captain.
Rey gets slaughtered or falls off the cliff on Ahch-To, and then the Porgs just take over.
Yep.
Luke's like, well, you guys are Force-sensitive birds, supposedly, so what the hell? Let's go. So he just has a flock of birds.
Chewie was struggling to replace Han, and you just got a bird.
Okay, caretakers of Ahch-To.
Okay.
So this is what would happen if a Vogon and a manatee had a baby. It's like a cuter version of a Vogon.
I did see that one. Those look kind of cool.
They look like E.T. nuns.
Yeah, that's right.
Ouch.
See, I think this is going to be one of those things.
Samsung Galaxy ad. Get out of my face.
We don't need that in the movie.
Praetorian Guard. Well, we covered that already.
Yeah. I think with the Ahch-To.
Did they get this armor from IKEA? I mean, really, this looks like you said, it looks like a salad bowl. And I think that's some barbecue tongs in their hands.
It's used crap they got at Kohl's and spray painted it red.
Okay,
Like
let's talk about this one. Kylo Ren. Good close-up of his new scar. How the do you have a scar starting at your forehead, trailing all the way down your face and down your neck from one lightsaber blow? That's one hell of a wacky lightsaber swipe to be able to graze your face all the way down and then cut into your neck to graze that too without going through your face to get there.
I almost said something really offensive to explain it, but I'm going to leave it alone. Let's just say that it could happen if the person making the lightsaber strike was very sick.
Is this going back to where I think it is?
No, this is something new, but I will leave it there because I'd be very offensive. So, yeah, I don't know. The whole I'm changing where the scar is at. I'm like, is that really necessary?
It doesn't even bother me, but this scar is just entirely impossible. You can't create a scar like this. The only way to get a scar on your neck is if it goes through your jaw to get there.
Well, no,
Dude should be dead.
I was going to explain how that might have happened, but again, I can't do it.
Okay. Maybe Ben got a little too emo and tried to cut himself. And
yeah, what if Kylo Ren's a cutter?
Bigger.
You know, this isn't live. You can just say it and we'll just cut it.
No, I'm going to behave myself.
But now I want to know.
No, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's funny in my head, and it would be really mean. So I'm not doing it.
I can play the please stand by music and cut this part of the show out.
Well, I will say this. What if like the dude who was like cutting him with the lightsaber had the shakes real bad? Like what if he's like a booze hound and he had the DTs and he's like, so his hand was going in and out like he was, maybe that's what happened. And it just so happened that Kylo Ren got really lucky. He's like, it just twitches like the shape of his face. Maybe.
I put two and two together. I know where he was going. I'm not going to say it anymore either.
Well, that's two of us. So anyways,
I'm so in the dark. Okay.
Back in the clean world.
Poe Dameron's sitting in the cockpit of an X-Wing. His X-Wing before it blows up. Wait a minute.
Are we sure that's...
Wait a minute. this thing already blew up. No, wait, I'm sorry. The regular one blew up in the beginning of Force Awakens. Then this black and orange one survived Starkiller Base.
Yeah.
Then it blows up at the beginning of this one. What the hell is with him and X-Wings blowing up?
His insurance rate must be horrible.
No Star Wars movie with Poe Dameron in it can start without him wrecking his X-Wing.
That probably is in the very beginning.
As long as he stares into Finn's eyes and bites his lip again at some point during this movie. That's all I'm waiting for.
His X-Wings are like the Kenny of Star Wars.
Yeah. They have BB-8 down by his feet, like making robot noises as it blows up. And he's like, I know, let's get out of here. What BB-8's actually saying is, what the shit, dude? Like, God bless America. You
Another one?
Yeah, what the hell? I'm not riding with you.
They just have like a 3-minute sequence in the movie of like some old Benny Hill kind of thing where like
That's exactly what it is.
Where like one blows up, so he just scampers to the next one. As soon as he gets in, it blows up. He scampers across to the next one, and it blows up, and he scampers. Like in a matter of like 3 minutes, him and BB-8 rolled a dozen or so X-Wings and just keep blowing up.
All right. Well, I will say this about these pictures: like we're judging quite a bit based on these, but I mean, it's literally one still frame. So for all we know, the Praetorian Guards could be like Chirrut Imwe was for me, where I'm like, this is so stupid. And then you see him in the movie, you're like, oh my God, that's awesome. So that could be the case. And I mean, we don't know how it fits in the greater context or what's happening in the scene or what it looks like, you know, with lighting and when things are in motion and things like that. So, you know.
Well, here's something that's actually kind of cool. This is a picture of Finn clearly in the cockpit of one of those, whatever those ships are called on Crate.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the
mining vehicles?
The picture of him in the augmented reality thing. Yeah. There we go.
No, it's just him sitting in the cockpit. You can see like the red dust kicking up behind him in the mountainscape and everything.
See, I read something about his character arc in this movie today on Star Wars Newsnet. And they're basically saying that like at the beginning of the movie, he kind of wants to leave again. He got injured. He's like, F this, man. I wanted to leave as it was. Now I got cut up by a lightsaber. I'm out. And kind of gets pulled back in by Rose. Because she kind of acts like he's like a hero or something. Like he's like a superstar. Like, oh my God, you're that guy. So
I have a feeling I'm not going to have my opinion of his character improve at all with this.
Well, what the hell does your opinion matter? You like friggin' Hux, dude.
Exactly. I'm a man of distinctive taste.
No, you're
Speaking of which,
distinctively crappy
not to make a
taste.
spoiler of any of these photos, no Hux in any of them.
Well, go figure.
I know of one very butthurt person about this too.
Hux rhymes with sucks. At some point, you're just going to have to deal with it, AJ. Hux is garbage.
I'll deal with that as soon as you accept that Han Solo is dead.
Well,
Ooh.
He's not, but Hux does suck.
I mean, you know, there's one of those two people who actually escaped Starkiller Base because he didn't fall into the reactor before it all blew up.
You don't know that Luke didn't feel his presence all the way from Ahch-To and float him to safety and crap. Look, man, they can do whatever they want.
Mm-hmm. I'm not even going to bother with a retort. There's no reason.
I'm just going to live in denial.
You go right for it. That's fine.
Until there are no more Star Wars
That's
movies.
fine.
And the last one he appears in is episode 7. I'll be like, nope.
Han's alive. The Browns are going to have a winning record one of these seasons. Just
Right?
full of it.
So what else do we have in these pictures here?
We've got Kylo Ren's air quotes new starfighter
Oh, what's it's called? What is that called? I forget. It's called a TIE
silencer.
silencer. That's right. I think that's cool sounding.
They stepped on a TIE interceptor. That's all it is.
Yeah, they flattened it out a little bit.
They just squashed it. That's it.
Yeah, but you know what?
Again with the derivative designs. What the hell?
But that one to me is a little better because, like we just said with the Praetorian Guards, they're trying to look at this new thing, and the Praetorian Guards look kind of like. But so at least with the TIE silencer, they just went, it's a TIE interceptor, but a little different. I'm like, okay, fine.
Why does it look like it has the HAL 9000 in the cockpit, though?
The HAL 9000. Nice.
I can't do that, Michael.
Yeah. What are you doing, Kylo? It goes to like 2001. That goes back to our conversation about who would do episode 7, like it'd be a Stanley Kubrick one.
That's it. the movie starts with playing that theme music and the monkeys instead of the giant black thing, it's just Han Solo standing there, alive, and all the damn monkeys are freaking out to the Ric Flair music.
The Ric Flair music.
That's what I want. I want to see that movie again. And as soon as that hits, I want to hear, woo!
Limousine riding, jet flying. How do these apes know how to talk already? I don't get it.
Ric Flair just comes in and starts chest slapping all the monkeys.
One of the monkeys has like a big like sequin covered robe on. Like, what is this?
This podcast took a right turn.
Yeah, it took a wrong turn. Are you kidding me? Not a right one. Good Lord. So anything else that we missed in the pictures?
Exterior shot of Canto Bight.
Oh, is it the casino?
Yeah, there's nothing to see. It's just the outside of a building.
Oh.
It's a big
Was
round
it-
building.
That's exactly what it is.
All right. Yeah, that doesn't really show much, I guess.
Yeah, that could just be any generic sci-fi planet right there. Let's see. Picture of Kathleen Kennedy, Ryan Johnson, and producer Ram Bergman. So that's not really much either.
Okay.
There's Carrie Fisher on set. Okay, so, well.
And
Now
a
I just
guy
made
that-
myself sad.
And a
Dang it.
guy that looks like he's covering an awkward boner in the background back here.
Actually, that's true.
Plaid
He really
shirt guy,
does.
he really does.
That's,
All right.
Yeah,
well,
that ain't.
skip past that
yeah,
one.
next.
That magazine, there's the magazine cover.
And that's all I got to say about that.
Yeah. The Entertainment Weekly Star Wars Special Edition with Luke Skywalker with the hood. That looks badass. I might actually buy that just to have it. That is really cool. I am so interested to see what they're doing with this Luke character, man. It's like,
Is he a Jedi?
yeah. I mean, Mark Hamill himself said it, like he was totally surprised by it, and I keep reading these little things. I don't want to give spoilers, but it sounds like it's going to be so cool, and people are going to. I really wonder if the Luke Skywalker fans are going to be pissed off.
Well, you want to talk about reading into stuff too much. Yes, he keeps talking about how surprised he is with the direction of the character. He's not saying he's thrilled with it. He's just saying he's surprised by it.
Oh, well, dude,
You can be surprised by a heart attack or a cancer diagnosis. It doesn't mean you're in favor of it.
That's a hell of an analogy.
Somebody has a new bumper for the show.
Yeah. Right? My God, that's an analogy. Wow. Yeah, well, I mean, what are you going to do, though? You think if you're making that paycheck and you're back in movies this big, are you really going to be like, this storyline sucks my ass? Like, no. You're going to be like, well, it's different. It's like what we were taught in home ec class about manners when you're eating at somebody's house and they feed you something that tastes like shit. You don't go, wow, my God, I wouldn't feed this to my dog. You go, you poke at it and go, well, this is interesting. So he's exercising manners.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like from all the stuff I've read, I really wonder if the people that are into Luke Skywalker, like I'm into Han Solo, if they're going to throw a fit because they totally turn that character, completely on its ear. That's so interesting to me to see,
The one thing I hope though, you've got to change characters up to keep things interesting, but it's got to be something that it has to happen for a good enough reason. You can't just swerve everybody for the sake of shock value.
Yeah.
If this is just like, well, we needed something unexpected, let's make Luke kind of bad in this one.
Yeah.
Well, does it make sense for the character or not?
Apparently, a lot of the stuff is just basically what he's learned about the Jedi and the Force and what happened with his Jedi Academy and all that. It's like, to me, it doesn't sound like I wouldn't necessarily say jaded so much as it is like part of it is heartbreak and the other part is realizations of what the Force was supposed to be or what the Jedi Order was supposed to be.
See, that alone intrigues me because, Palpatine went on a campaign to snuff every bit of Jedi history that he could.
Yeah.
So how much does Luke know and where did he get it from?
Yeah. Well,
No-
obviously
no one
from the
was-
Force tree.
Right. No one was around to tell him.
The Force tree and Porgs.
Yeah, right. A tree and some birds told him all he needed to know. So now he's basically just an intergalactic hippie.
Porgs sidle up. They're like, "Hey, you want to know about the Jedi? I'll tell you about the Jedi."
He'd be like the dog in Road Trip.
Yeah.
Hey, old man, I got the munchies real bad. Tell that bitch to make me some blueberry pancakes. So they just they find Luke on the top of Ahch-To, and he's just sitting there chilling, smoking a joint, like, "Hey man, what's up?" And then the Porgs come up, and you're like, "Oh, how cute!" And they go, "Who the hell is that bitch? Get her ass out of here!"
Luke's
Like,
trying to
what is
explain
this?
things to Rey about how the birds are talking to him. She's looking at him like he's a crazy old man. He's like, "No, smoke this first."
Yeah, they're just regular birds, but you see it from Luke Skywalker's perspective because he's stoned out of his gourd on space weed. And they're like
Yeah, Lord knows what kind of plants are growing on that island, man.
We'll know if we're onto something if we look in the voice credits and we find like Ving Rhames or like Luther Vandross.
Yeah, right. The real reason that Luke ended up on
Ving Rhames as Porg.
the real
Hey, look, Tommy Chong did a voice for one of the Porgs.
The real reason that Luke Skywalker stayed on Ahch-To isn't because it's like the home of the Force and the Jedi. He just found the best drugs, so he just camped out. He's like, "Screw this! I'm just going to get stoned for the rest of my life."
Yeah, that's what he found. That's the whole Jedi Order in the beginning of it.
That's why he never came back. He's like, "Man, I go back to Leia. She's gonna have me pee in a cup."
He gets drug tested like the Jedi Order. He's sitting there talking to Rey. His eyes are all bleary, and off in the distance by about 10 feet, if you look up in the corner, there's like a little rolling paper. There's like floating in the air, like making a joint. So he's like rolling joints with the Force while he's talking to Rey. Like, "Yeah, I found the home of the Jedi," and and she's like, "What is that?" "Oh, don't worry about it. Anyway, it's like the Jedi home or something. I don't know." He's just like rolling joints behind him with the Force, like totally using the Force for the dumbest crap you can imagine.
"Luke, why didn't you come back?" "Well, you instituted that wellness policy."
Yeah, I don't want to get tested, man. What the hell?
First thing you did when we started recording was bring up South Park, and I'm just thinking of Towley.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I'm so wasted.
like Luke made his own like the what was it? Wilson from
Yeah,
from Castaway
Yeah.
/ Towley.
Yep.
He just created him on the island so he had somebody to talk to.
Right.
He used the last of his Force abilities to create this little thing that's just getting high on the island with him. That's it. You figured out the code to get in? No, learn how to play Funky Town. On the keypad, take me to Funky Town. We're trying to get into the Jedi Temple.
I think I've come to a conclusion that it's probably a really damn good thing that no one ever asked us to make a Star Wars movie, because it would be a pile of.
We've had good ideas that we've had to trademark really quick. Tonight, not any one of those.
No, not really.
Right now, we're just spitballing for Star Wars detours, I think.
Yeah, right.
But if a Porg does speak during the movie and it's Tommy Chong, I'm walking out of the theater. I'm done. I'm done.
Come on!
I'd be like, nope. I'm taking my popcorn. I'm going home. You guys tell me how good it was later. I'm out.
Porg starts singing, "Jedi's like to eat beans. Jedi's gonna kick you in the face." Just ripping off the Cheech and Chong song. Like, what in the hell did they make? They just ran out of ideas. Yeah, we're only gonna have 3 Star Wars movies. We're done. We got our $4 billion back. Screw it. We're moving on.
You're welcome, fans.
Yeah, right. No, but I mean, back to a point that I was trying to make. Like, I really wonder. Yeah, ironically, I really wonder what it's going to do now that it really sounds like they're kind of turning the Luke Skywalker character into someone who, I guess, sounds really cynical. And he's not that shining beacon of light in the Star Wars universe of I'm the good guy. Like, he represents all that is good. It's like, I really wonder, because I know for me, like, as much as I love Han Solo, when the Han Solo movie comes out, the standalone film, if they change the character and it's very different, I'm going to be pissed. Like, that's not Han Solo. So I wonder how the Luke Skywalker fans are going to feel, even though they're going to give valid reasons for him to kind of change his outlook and his beliefs within the Force and the Jedi Order. They'll have legitimate reasons, but what are they going to, I mean, what are they going to feel when it changes the character they've loved for over 30 years?
Well, I think it fits the character. I mean, remember everything that Obi-Wan and Yoda were telling him in Return of the Jedi was Vader's too far gone. You have to fight him. You have to kill him. That's just the way it is. And he was the one that turned around and said, no, I'm not going to turn to the dark side, even though that is the easy path to, get the power I need to do what they're telling me. I'm going to embrace love instead. Like he's got a history of kind of questioning things and figuring it out on his own.
Almost a Qui-Gon type of thing.
Yeah. Need that. You do not.
Yeah. Right.
But so I think that fits his character just fine to discover things on his own, especially because he has no guidance anymore.
Yeah.
So he's just reading stuff and coming up with his own conclusions, and no one's even telling him what to think about it. So actually, there you go. We were just talking about what did Palpatine erase from the galaxy, basically. Maybe whatever Luke found is kind of like a tainted version. Maybe it's whatever was not redacted or hidden. So maybe Palpatine twisted the history. So what Luke is reading is actually garbage. It's complete, fabrication that Palpatine put out there in case anyone found it.
Like propaganda.
Yeah. So anyone does try to go digging up the path on the history of the Jedi, they come across a skewed history that paints them as villains.
Yeah. I mean, that's interesting. That's kind of a cool way to look at it. That might be a cool thing to do.
I mean, history is written by the victors. That's the saying, right?
Yeah. I mean, and as
sometimes rewritten.
As for direction, I mean, he obviously, I wonder if they'll bring in the whole communing with those who've transformed into the Force thing. I'm making air quotes, kind of like, like the Force Ghost thing. And if they're going to bring Yoda into it somehow, at least in voice or something, like it's so interesting.
Like Luke's training Rey and then he looks over at the Force Ghost and they're holding up like signs like they're judging the dunk contest.
Yeah,
or
right.
something.
Right.
Yoda's just a crotchety old man. He's just holding up like a 4.
Yeah.
Angry face all the time.
What here's something interesting. What if they basically turn Luke into the concept of the gray Jedi?
Yes.
And what if that was how the Jedi originally were? And as the years went by, it kind of split. And you've got the ultra good guy Jedi and the other ones where they weren't ultra good ended up falling to the dark side because
Dooku.
Yeah, because the tolerance for that questioning of things and not being 100% good guy for terrible phrasing, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get what you're saying. Like, how Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan were like, they would follow the book to the letter almost, but then you had, like you mentioned, Dooku, or you go to the animated stuff like Ahsoka and stuff who kind of are like, yeah, but this stuff is kind of blurred, it's the absolutes thing, that we talked about, Jedi, and it's like there's sometimes that you don't have to deal in the absolutes to still do the right thing, and yeah, like you said, it's the split, somewhere along the line, maybe the guys that were following it to the letter were just getting a little too pissy at the guys, or vice versa.
It's almost like, and see if you can follow me here, because I don't remember the name of the good creatures. But what if and boy, this is going to be a crazy reference. What if it's kind of like the Dark Crystal, where the creatures were one and then they got split?
Oh, yeah.
And then they came back together and made those like super beings, but the splitting off made like the really evil ones and then the pure good. I know it's Skeksis. I forget what the other ones are, but
it's been forever. I gotta see that movie again.
I know. Like I said, I know Skeksis are the bad ones, but and I know this is a crazy reference for anybody who's not into the Dark Tower, so I'll probably get crapped on for it. But they started out as one creature.
Dark Tower or Dark Crystal?
Dark Crystal. Sorry. They started out as one creature and then they got split. And there was the really evil creature and the really good creatures, like 2 from 1.
Yeah.
And then that machine or whatever and the crystal and all that crap put them back together into the ultimate one being. So maybe like the gray Jedi was that one being. And then as time went on, they kind of like the Force, like instead of having kind of that doubt and the goodness, like, so you kind of saw both sides, the Jedi kind of split, and there were Jedi that were, purely good and everything, and then the other ones that are doubtful and stuff end up going to the dark side as being like evil.
Well, I think it's canon now. I'm pretty sure it is. The concept of was it the Fallen 21 or the Lost 20 or something like that?
I haven't heard about this. What is it?
It's a group of Jedi, the 20 or 21 of them, that basically not necessarily fell to the dark side, but lost their way. And Dooku was one of them, because it wasn't like Dooku instantly became a Sith when he left the Jedi Order. Apparently there was some time where he was kind of, sorting out his future. He had a lot of irons in the fire, wanted to see where to go. So these 20 Jedi, of which we only know of Dooku, all just left the Order. They just split with him. They're like, look, we don't buy into this like you do. So they were still Force sensitive, still trained as Jedi, did not follow the code. So maybe what Luke is reading on is something left behind by those.
That's really interesting.
I mean,
Like
that's the gray Jedi concept.
And that brings back to what you said about, you being a diehard Han, the diehard Luke fans, that, how will they feel if he dives into the Jedi Order and finds out that, pretty much the Jedi Order is full of lies or crap or jerks or whatever. And you walk out of the theater with the basic Dooku was right kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like how does that turn, Luke fans on their heads if a guy that turns into a Sith, ultimately had the right idea?
Yeah, that's one of the best points that gets totally glossed over in Revenge of the Sith is when Palpatine's talking to Anakin at the opera and he's like, you can't just listen to what the Jedi are telling you. The Force is so much bigger than what the Jedi focus on. You got to know all of it.
Yeah, man, there's so much you could do with this. I just really wonder what this is going to do to the Luke character and what fans of that character are going to think, because it's like, I mean, it could basically harden the Luke character, and it's almost like if they took Vader and kind of softened him. I know, Steve, if they did something like that with Vader, where the whole time, he's evil, and then you see him later in life or something, and, I know this can't happen, but just hypothetically,
right.
And all of a sudden it's like, well, he actually is kind of good, and they show him in his quarters when nobody's around
with a porg.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a pet porg.
Some of that concept art that came out with like the picture of Padme over his head while he's in his little bubble and he's like crying inside of it and stuff.
Yeah, like
oh, that's awful.
Yeah, you haven't seen that picture?
About that.
Yeah, it's a horrible picture.
Yeah, I mean, but
come on, cue up that sound.
Yeah,
no.
I would be highly upset by that, because I was just thinking while you were saying, John, I'm like, if they made Luke, who I have very openly said I've never really been a fan of because he is too goody-goody, I was just thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, if he kind of turns into a hard ass by the end of this movie, I'm like, I'm going to be a Luke fan, honestly. Yeah. I really would be, but that's because he'd be taking that darker turn. I don't know why I gravitate towards the bad guys all the time, but yeah, I would,
because they're always more complex and therefore more interesting.
Yeah,
I would certainly like him more if he started to have a darker turn to him.
It definitely seems like there's more to be explored there. Like, it almost makes it a much more interesting character, because he's been very one-dimensional in terms of motivations and everything. It's just, well, I'm going to be a Jedi and I'm going to make my father turn good, and everything is good. But now if you take it and go, well, he learned some stuff and now not so much.
Maybe that's what cool. Maybe that's what the statement with the time for the Jedi to end thing is, because he found out something about the Jedi that he doesn't even want to train Rey as a Jedi anymore. So you could go to the gray thing. You could go, hey, maybe they're turning into Sith. Who the hell knows?
Yeah.
Whatever. Kylo's not a Sith, so whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe these guys are turning into one. Who the hell knows?
Yeah,
maybe
right?
it's a whole new order that Luke is going to start, and then God knows how many decades, we could write into Star Wars, after the Jedi finally disappeared, in this whole new order that started with Luke and Rey and blah, blah, blah. God, we're all about selling tickets and keeping Star Wars in everybody's home for the next couple hundred years. So who the hell knows?
See, there's another swerve. You mentioned the line in the trailer, and this blew my mind when my girlfriend mentioned this the other night. And I've not seen this written anywhere or discussed at all. Her theory is that line is incomplete. So it's time for the Jedi to end. What? It's not time for the Jedi to end. It's time for the Jedi to end something.
Oh, so like
to end strife in the galaxy,
yeah,
or to end their
action, yeah.
or to end their isolation from the galaxy at large. Or
Well, yeah, I mean, you do. Excuse me.
Can I give her real quick, since you cleared your throat? I'm going to give her credit for one of the most interesting Star Wars points I've heard in months. It
never occurred to me.
Me either.
'Cause,
That is fascinating.
It's honestly a coin flip. I mean, it's a 50-50 shot that's the end of the sentence, or is he continuing? And if he is continuing, like you said, what? So, I mean, that's...
And let's face it,
we've heard dumber theories, so honestly, like I said, that's a 50-50 shot that is what that was meant to be. And if
wow, good on her, man.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
And if we've learned anything from Star Wars trailers since Disney took over, it's that you can't trust a damn thing in them.
Exactly. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, we called it when we saw the footage of Force Awakens and the Falcon flying over the graveyard of giants. We thought, oh man, Han and Chewie kicking ass. And then you posited, you're like, I don't think Han's flying it this time.
Yeah.
But everyone thought, at first footage, it's the Falcon. It must be Han and Chewie.
Yeah. Wow, that is such a cool thought.
And the scene also in Force Awakens trailer, we had the scene of the robotic hand going on Luke's dome.
Yep.
Which
R2's dome, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. What did I say?
We did not.
Oh, Luke's dome. Sorry, Luke's hand.
We
Yeah.
did not have a robotic hand going on Luke's dome. That would have been a completely different rating on that film, and a much different ending.
I was thinking slang for his cranium, dude.
I wasn't.
I know.
Ray gets up to the top of the mountain, and Luke's up there like squeezing some toothpaste out of the tube, and you're like, oh my God, am I seeing this? Everyone in the theater is like,
she just does that little thing where she hides her eyes and then peeks through the fingers really quick.
Right?
Written by
Doing some Porg wrestling of another kind.
Right. So anyways, not to be all gross, but
yeah, and there's loads of footage from Rogue One that never showed up in the movie because of the reshoots and recuts and stuff. So yeah, who knows what that line means in context.
See, now that gets me even more excited for the movie, because I'm like, ooh, what if that is the case? Like, what if
that could be the moment that he's like, all right, yeah, we got to go against the First Order.
Yeah, exactly. I was just about to say that. Like, what if that is the whole time he's like resistant, and finally something happens and he's like, it's time for the Jedi to end
their neutrality.
To end all of this.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's so cool. Man, props to her. That is awesome.
Now I just hope the line's actually in the movie.
Yeah. That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, that whole little portion of it is the Zuvio.
Yeah, right.
of the new movie.
We get in the theater, it's like, it's time for the Jedi to make Jiffy Pop.
Or nothing in the trailers are in the movie. But what is in the movie is Constable Zuvio.
That'd be great.
Everyone's like, there's not a damn thing from the trailer in here. Holy crap, it's Zuvio. That's who's up there with Luke. Constable Zuvio.
If I'm ILM, I'm throwing him in somewhere. He's going to be in the background of Canto Bight or something.
What they need to do is right before the end of episode 9, right before the just have the thing as it's the music builds, and just have a quick moment of silence, and Zuvio comes in and goes, hey everybody. Like,
this sounds like Fozzie from the Muppets.
He's got like the Swedish chef. I'm Constable Zuvio. I don't think that's what that character sounds like.
No, not at all. Not at all.
All of a sudden, I realized I had to do that, and I'm like, I haven't actually heard what the Swedish chef sounds like in a long time. Like, yeah.
And now we go and police the guards.
From Constable Zuvio.
Pork.
Yeah,
that's what he's saying. Pork.
Yeah, pork. Oh my gosh.
It all fits.
Yeah.
Stupid Zuvio is just chasing Porgs around the island like Rocky chasing the goddamn chickens. Pork.
He's chasing Porgs like Rocky chasing chickens while he's yelling like the Swedish chef from the Muppets. And then the Guardians of
Let's put
Ahch-To.
it on the Reddit page.
No, then they flash to the Guardians of Ahch-To, who are like up on a cliff, like the old eagle and the old guy,
God.
like the
Statler and Waldorf.
Statler and Waldorf. What do you think that moron Zuvio is doing down there? I don't know, but it looks like we're having porg for dinner. Like we are full of awful ideas tonight. My God.
Nerf Herder Council exclusive. Jim Henson Creature Shop hired to crew the Last Jedi.
Right. Oh man.
You heard it here first, folks.
If they ever hired us to make a Star Wars movie, they would have us fired in about 6 days and go running and begging like Miller and Lord to come back in and make a Star Wars movie. That's how bad of a job we would do.
Just make sure we trademark everything, just in case we have one or two good ideas.
You guys might come up with some good ideas, and then I'd just be in the background going, put Han Solo in it. Put Han Solo in that scene. Dude, he's dead. No, he came back. He came back. Put him in there. Put him in. No, Han Solo. Dude, we're having a serious conversation. So am I. Put Han Solo in there. I'm telling you, he's alive. Put him in there.
I've got it. Story meeting right now. Here's what we do.
Okay.
Opening scene. Finn gets mortally wounded. They find Han's body.
By Hux.
Han's body still hanging on by a thread. Somehow, Luke extends a force bubble around him and keeps him in stasis or something. But there's only one back to tank. Of course, Han gets it. Finn dies. There we go.
Well,
Good movie. Good movie.
Well, of course.
Now you just need Hux and Zuvio in it. We got a movie.
Hux gets pecked to death by porgs.
Steel peckers.
Yeah, right.
He goes back to Jakku looking for something.
And the steel peckers just destroy him. Like, what the heck? Wow, that was a really horrible, like, non-heroic death there, Hux. What the hell? No, but so anyways, back somewhat on topic. Yeah, that is such a good point. That just gets me more excited for this movie because there's so many directions that this could go. And what if all the stuff they're saying and talking about and doing is like Luke does end up being that super heroic character after all, but on a level even more extreme than he was in the original trilogy. It just takes a while to get there. And you could do that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he chose exile for a reason, so we know he's gonna play into the story in a major way, obviously. Now we just got to see what are the chain of events that lead him back into the larger scope of galactic events.
Yeah. Man, all I know is I'm going to love this movie because if it tells a totally different story and just does some different stuff and does something totally original, I'm just going to love this. It's going to be so cool.
AJ, save that just in case he craps on this movie in December.
I'm such a freaking mark for this crap. I really am.
Let's bookmark that one right now.
Yeah.
Damn it. I am such a mark for this stuff, but I can't help it. It's like, I love the Star Wars universe. And if they're telling me something new, that's awesome. I'm like, all right. Cause it opens doors for more Star Wars stuff, man. It's like, it's what I want. I want to see Star Wars all the time.
I do love that they're still in branching out mode instead of tying up mode. Like this is clearly they're not looking to like shut things down and wrap it up. They're like, no, let's put as many directions out there as we can so we can pull on any story thread we want.
Yeah. Man, all this stuff that they've been doing is so brilliant. I mean, to take something like Star Wars without the original creator and be able to pull off stories like this and to expand on stuff that's been around for 30 years and make it equally as good as the stuff that came before it, that is awesome. And when you start thinking about the stories they're telling, it's like, how do they come up with this? Because they're sitting around trying to come up with ideas. And to have ideas this good.
Yeah, with an entirely blank slate, that's actually more daunting than having a direction to go in.
Yeah. I mean, man, oh man. I still can't get over the whole, what are the Luke Skywalker fans going to think? No, he's a good guy. Are you going to have those people?
I think everyone's just going to be happy just to see him back in the movie in general. Because, like it or not, like I said, no, that's not true. Who do you think was actually ultimately more popular, Han Solo or Luke Skywalker as a character?
Oh my God, that's a tough one.
I mean, the big hype around Han Solo coming back was that Harrison Ford had nothing to do with the franchise for so long. I don't know if it was because Han was so much more popular.
Man, that is really hard because
I mean, to go based on action figure sales and stuff like that, Luke is the most popular character.
yeah. But so I'm wondering if it's like you could say Luke is the most popular character, but Han Solo's up there. You just hear about him more because the Han Solo fans are more vocal.
Mm-hmm.
They're almost like the fans of each character are perfect representations of the characters themselves. Luke is kind of unassuming and even keel, and and Han Solo's brash and in your face.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could kind of make that argument. Man, that's a really good question because I know way more people that talk about Han Solo than talk about Luke Skywalker. But Luke, as you said, by action figure sales, if you want to go by that, is the most popular character. And look at how everyone just goes nuts whenever he's around. I mean, that's tough.
Well, the one thing that's brilliant, you got Han Solo back for episode 7, brilliant, and now Luke gets to take center stage in 8. More nostalgia, but in a new direction.
Yeah.
Whereas Han was just old Han. This is Luke as we've never seen him before. So this is like a new direction, and then that totally sets the stage for 9 to just. It doesn't have to be all sequel trilogy characters, but they've been established enough at that point that in the 3rd movie they can take center stage by themselves.
Yeah. It'll be it'll be interesting. They're never going to tell us, but it would be interesting to know what Leia's part was in 9, because I've read that it was kind of like episode 7 was Han's movie, episode 8 is Luke's, and episode 9 was going to kind of be Leia's. So I wonder, since they had to rewrite everything when Carrie Fisher passed, I wonder if they're going to it's going to be Luke basically taking that spot that Leia had. So
Lando
yeah,
gets it.
Yeah, right. It's going to be Lando's movie. They're going to have 85-year-old Billy D. Williams coming out there.
Still got Lobot in tow.
Yeah, right. Oh, speaking of Lando, I read an article today, and Donald Glover was interviewed, and he was talking about the meeting that he had with Billy D. Williams about the Lando character.
Uh-huh.
And he said that he was talking about, well, I figured he could come from here. Here's a kind of character arc, like maybe his motivations, this, like all this, like studying into the character to try and like see what he could do to like, get into the backstory and really make him kind of like a perfect origin to where he ended up when Billy D. Williams was playing him and stuff like that. And he went into all this detail, and that Billy D. Williams kind of looked at him and went, no, just make him charming. And it was almost like, and the article was like, oh, that's so cool. Like, that's so cool. But me, I'd have been like, this guy just crapped all over me. Like, he's to me, I would have taken it as, no, I made Lando this way, so you're going to do that.
That's such an old school approach, though. It kind of cracks me up. Like I was watching a Star Wars show today coming over here, and they had an interview with Jay Bird, I think. But the author who's doing the novelization for Last Jedi,
okay,
his previous author credits for Star Wars are a lot of the reference books. And this is something that kind of pisses me off. Talk about the merchandising frenzy of Star Wars. He was talking about how fun it is to write the reference books, and he related a story about how he got to name the freighter that Han and Chewie were on in Force Awakens because it didn't have a name. So as he's writing the reference book, which is supposed to be background information, he's making up as he goes along because even the story writers don't care to that level of detail. But if they can make up a whole bunch of facts that don't even exist, they can sell more books, and a whole bunch of nerds can be like, oh, I know that one. It was in a reference guide.
Well, you know that's who they did it for, though, because it's
but that's kind of
super
new
fans.
But that's new school versus old school. Like new school is we got to know every last detail and have it all be cohesive and make sense. So we're going to invent facts even where none exist. Where Billy D. Williams is old school. He's like, he was just a charming character.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else to him.
He was a kick-ass dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, it's for the super fans because if they don't name it, everyone's going to be clamoring. Well, what's the name of it? Why doesn't it have a name? Everything has to have a name. Like, so that's why they do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that the super nerd fans that just have to have every single tiny last droplet of detail, or else, oh, this sucks, man. What the heck? Like, why'd they do this?
But silly me, I actually thought that the facts existed already and someone just compiled them for the reference books. I didn't realize they were invented for the reference books.
Well, the reference books are made after the movie, though, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, when they're writing a movie, they're not always writing, like Han and Chewie enter the Millennium Falcon coming off of the deck of the giant turd bird.
Giant turd bird.
I couldn't think of anything. So so all of a sudden the freight, they don't have the name of the freighter in the script. It's just they they're on this big freighter. So when they make the book, people that buy this stuff are going to go, okay, well, what's the name of the freighter? Why aren't you giving me the name of the freighter? So they have to do that.
Well, I just assume that while they're creating the movie and they already know they're going to put out, say, a reference book about it, they've already got like the facts that they need to invent as they're writing the movie in mind for when the reference book gets written later. But no, the facts don't even exist then. It's just the reference book author pulling out of thin air.
I would love if they named stuff to like rip on people that are that nerdy, but you just don't know it. Like they named something, like fan head backwards. And people are like, oh, that's a cool name. But if you read it backwards, it's like, yeah, you you know what I mean? Like, that'd be hilarious. Or like just stupid words like turd eater, but they just flip around the letters to make something else. And it's like all these Star Wars names we think are so cool and they're tough to come up with. It's actually some dude just with like using potty language, like kindergarten level potty language. That would be amazing. Like,
you mean you don't like character names like Squid Head, Hammerhead?
Well, the really creative ones,
Lobster Man,
Wolfman, or whatever it is. Yeah, like seriously, wouldn't it be awesome? Everyone's like trying to find like the historical significance. What planet did such and such come from? Where what's his background? What race is he? Like, and the guy comes out and says, "Well, actually, no. It's just if you realign the letters of eat my ass and balls, that's the name of the character." Like,
it's Pablo Hidalgo's last day at Lucasfilm when he responds to one of those tweets and goes, he doesn't have one. It's a movie.
Yeah, he's going to snap at some point. He is going to snap at some point. That Pablo Hidalgo, you can already tell he gets annoyed with people sometimes on his tweets, man. But as time goes on, he's just going to break. There's going to be this torrent of stuff coming out of him where he's just going to destroy like one massive part of the mythos of Star Wars that everyone's got on this pedestal. And he's just going to just absolutely just destroy the whole thing. And everyone's gonna be like, what the heck? No. And he's just going to walk off into the sunset with both fingers in the air, the middle fingers, like up yours, everybody.
He's going to stone cold everyone.
Yeah, right. Rick roll the entire Star Wars fan base. Yeah.
I said he's from Ahch-To.
What?
I said he's from Crate.
What?
I said he's from Canto Bight.
What?
I said he's from Jakku.
What?
I said he's from Takodana.
What?
I said he's from Hoth.
What?
All right, we're done.
I said he's from Yadu.
Sorry, there's too many planets. We can't keep that going.
I know, right?
Do that for another 20 minutes.
All right, and with that, we'll close up shop.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
man.
our version of no, but okay, the merchandising thing, I did want to bring up that article from Crack that we found a while ago. I actually forgot all about this, so I guess we could both take credit for this show topic because I actually had it and then forgot about it until you were talking about some article you wanted to bring up on the air. And I was like, oh, great, send me the link. And then you're like, dude, you sent it to me.
Yep.
So now it's like totally new to me. I don't even remember what the thing says anymore.
Well, actually, I sent you the Cracked magazine article, but it was weeks ago. I never got that. And I pulled it up and it was you responding, this is a really good article. Like I told you I gave it to you. Well, I would love to bring that up at some point, this article, because it's 5 things about Star Wars fans don't understand.
Yeah, we got to show that, throw that in the show notes for sure.
Yeah, it's really good. And it's just kind of a long read. We didn't bring it up because to read the individual 5 things, it gets pretty lengthy. So it would kind of be it'd be more like an audiobook of fact rather than us discussing the merits of the points made within it. But So anyway, there was part of it which was I think
Merchandising. Where the real money from the movie is made.
we are so good on these quotes.
Yeah, this was a little bit of a rant, and I wasn't sure what form it should take. So I decided to hang on to it until we came to the show, because otherwise I was just going to like throw it up on YouTube or something as like a one-off by myself. But oh my God. Okay. So merchandising. The big news coming out of Lego Town this week was this gigantic box. And Steve, this is where you can help out, because you follow Lego like I do.
Right.
They tweeted out this thing for people that don't follow Lego. They tweeted out a picture of a gigantic box, just plain white box wrapped up with a Lego logo on it. And it had a statistic. It put it next to one of the other newer sets that they came out with. That's like 1,700 pieces,
something like that.
2,200 pieces.
Wasn't it the VW bus or something?
The
like
London
that?
bus,
Yeah,
the double decker. But it's like a $200 set, and the statistic next to this box was something big is coming, 4.86 times bigger than the London double decker bus, to be exact. And everyone's losing their minds because everyone's assuming that it's a new Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
A little background. The last Lego Millennium Falcon Collector Series came out in 2007, exactly 10 years ago, for the 30th anniversary of the original movie. And they've since gone in with their Collector Series line and started doing some remakes. Like the first Collector Series from Lego was an X-Wing. They've got a new X-Wing out.
Yeah.
They did a snow speeder. They've done a second snow speeder now. I don't know if did they ever do a regular TIE fighter before? Or
I don't think so. They did.
But they did the
had
Interceptor.
The Interceptor, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so they've done a couple remakes, and it's well past time for another Millennium Falcon, because this thing was here and gone before anyone really knew about it. It was $500. It's over 5,000 pieces. And the thing goes for, it can go over $5,000 now, $1 a piece for Lego on the secondhand market now, because it was such a limited release. So everyone's losing their minds thinking that this thing is, and all the rumors that are coming out is basically it's a poorly protected secret that this is happening. Probably going to be revealed on September 1st on Force Friday. Probably be available October 1st.
Yep. Because
there's usually 2 Collector Series releases a year. We've only had 1 so far. And the retail price on this thing is estimated to be $700. Make it the most expensive Lego set ever, and also the largest if the piece count works with the size of the box. It's going to be about 8,000 pieces. So it's going to be,
holy God.
Yeah. So it's going to be like 2/3 bigger than the existing Collector Series Millennium Falcon. And it led me to think, as the guy who spent $1,500 on his own self-made costume and is waiting on another $450 of a Novos Stormtrooper gear
right,
to build that one next, and looking at my 100+ Lego Star Wars sets at, I don't know what the retail price is, but let's just be conservative. Let's say that's $2,000 worth of Lego right there. And now they're asking $700 for this Lego set. And this thing is going to be gone and sold out for like a year and a half solid.
Yeah.
How much is too much, and why the hell the Star Wars of all things? Why do we just take this on face value and say thank you for the privilege of dropping this kind of coin?
I can explain it very easily. I get this all the time from people that know me and know how crazy about Star Wars I am. They'll see like a Star Wars keychain and come and go, dude, I saw a Star Wars keychain. I totally thought of you. You should buy this. It's got to be worth money. Star Wars collecting has become a thing where people, they hear about all these pieces, like the vintage Kenner stuff and all that's worth money. So they instantly assume that everything is worth a crap load of money. So,
okay.
So basically collectors now, they buy this stuff with the hope of it like tripling, quadrupling, whatever in value, and it becoming rare.
You want to know what
down the road.
You know what will keep that, if it is the Millennium Falcon, what will keep that from ever gaining any kind of traction is like a huge resale thing. Me purchasing it.
I'm the same way.
As soon as I buy that thing, the Lego store, Lego group will be like, you know what? We're going to supply everybody with this damn thing. It's going to be in our stores. It's going to be in Walmart. It's going to be at Toys R Us. Everybody who wants one will get one. You are welcome. And then everybody that planned on reselling that thing is just setting fire to the box in their backyard.
Yeah.
The day after you spend $700, they drop it down to $150 and make it accessible.
Oh, God.
Like, I could have bought 5 of these things.
It's just on the clearance shelf like 2 months later
Yep.
for a quarter of the price because there's an open bag in the box.
I mean, AJ, it really comes down to supply and demand at its most basic levels.
You know, it doesn't always work, though.
Well, no, but most times it does.
Like, also in the Star Wars show, they went through the Lucasfilm archives and it was all merchandising stuff. And it was like different licensors, but what the equivalent of what is now like Gentle Giant. You know, where you can get like the statues for like $7,000 and all this.
Yeah.
They had a Han and Carbonite, life-size Han and Carbonite, $900, super limited release, air quotes again. They were selling it for $750 on closeout to get rid of them. It was supposed to be a limited run of only 2,500 for $900. They only produced 1,500. They didn't even produce the full 2,500, and they had to discount it to get rid of that many of them.
Are you sure that wasn't 9,000 and 7,500? Because the life size stuff I've seen is the Han Carbonite's like $7,500.
No, that's the irony of it. They had to discount this thing to get it out the door, even at a shorter run than anticipated. And of course, now it's hyper rare and valuable because they only made 1,500 of them, and well, there's only 1,500 of them, so. There's your collector's edition right there. But at the time, they were like, oh, yeah, we could totally get 900 a piece for these Han Solo and Carbonites. And they had to cut the run by 1,000 and discount it by $150.
Yeah, but most things that they create, people buy. I mean, that's why it's
I don't think Lego's going to have that issue. Like you said, first thing you said, AJ, even at that price tag, good luck even looking at a box when that damn thing gets released. I mean, if you were to go to I remember, 2 times I went to the Lego store for the UCS releases. One was the TIE Fighter. One was, I'm looking at my shelf over there, 3 times. It was the Sandcrawler, it was the Slave One, and it was the TIE Fighter. And each time I went for one of those, the line was like, in the one Lego store that we have in our area inside of a mall, like the line was around the damn thing. Like it was almost out the door. And honestly, I had to have a friend of mine get the Slave One for me and walk around the store for like 30 or 40 minutes or something waiting for me to get there to even get that thing. So yeah, even at $700, if you think for 1 second that's going to shorten that line at all, you know, outside the Lego store in our area, like, you're insane.
No, scarcity drives the demand for sure.
Well, I mean,
there's people like me that got an $8,000 limit on their really nice Star Wars chase card in their wallet right now that are going to go and buy 4 or 5 of those stupid things and dump them on eBay later that day.
I was actually just about to mention that, like, you go to Celebration, imagine releasing that as the exclusive. The Celebration exclusives are always $40. But if you just said, we're releasing this at Celebration, it's $700, you would have the exact same demand and the exact same monstrous lines, if not more.
Because that $40 Lego kit is $250 on eBay the next day because you can only get it at Celebration. So that $700 one, now it's just $3,000.
You're absolutely right. Actually, this year's $40 Lego exclusive is going for $400 online right now.
Is it really?
And it's all common parts.
What was the exclusive this year? I forget. I'm drawing a blank.
A little mini set of Han and Luke in the detention block.
Yeah, that's right.
The Stormtrooper. So it's Stormtrooper minifigures with a Han and a Luke head on them.
Yeah, and all common pieces. It wasn't like anything they made exclusive to that set. You can actually just assemble it from other parts.
You can bricklink it for about $6.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think it literally
maybe $6.
I mean, dude, I'll be honest. I don't collect anything except I've started collecting the 6-inch Black Series figures. Because I know, like, I'm a sucker for it too. Like, when I walk around Celebration, I could easily drop like $20,000, and I'm not even exaggerating because I see stuff. I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's so cool. And Star Wars collecting is the thing. They can charge whatever they want because there are so many things available to you that if you're into something, like, you know, as crazy as I am about Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon, could you imagine how much money I would be able to spend if I decided, well, I'm just going to collect all Han Solo and Millennium Falcon stuff? Just think about it. Just think about how many things.
You're just walking around
Yeah,
Celebration
yeah.
and somebody goes, no, this is an actual prop from the Falcon
Yeah.
from episode 5 or something. Here's a certificate of authenticity for you. How quick are you pulling money out of your pocket for it?
Even little things like
regardless of how many zeros are at the end of that.
You just walk past basically a junk dealer. There'll be like a lapel pin for $5. I mean, I could get that. It's just there's always something to get, and when you start getting into the collecting part of it, you always want to keep you want to have a complete collection, but you can never have a complete collection. So they can charge whatever they want because there's going to be somebody to buy it, because when collectors get into this, they want all of it.
And yeah, AJ and I had this problem. We've both been very, very good, for lack of a better word, on buying our Legos. But God, for a good couple of years there, the two of us are just like, we could add an entire message thread on our phone of just talking about like, oh yeah, we should meet up here and we got to get like this, and there's this kit's coming out and this set's coming out, and I'll pick up 2 and you give me the money back for this, and we'll do there was a time there where we were just going absolutely insane over getting some of these things, and the majority of them are still sitting on my floor over here behind John in sealed boxes.
Yeah, right.
My wife was doing the same thing. Hey, I was walking around Target and I found like 4 of these on clearance. I'm like, buy them all, Gwen. Get them all.
Yep.
Get every damn one of them.
And yeah, for some reason, like I purposely constrain my collecting to pretty much Lego, and that's it, and Hux. So we're good.
Right.
Update. I did get the Funko Pop, so we're good. We're good on
Good
that.
job.
So your
All right,
collection is now complete.
No,
Your collection is now complete.
I have to get the 6-inch Black Series, and then I'm good.
Okay.
Until the next wave of Lego sets where there's another Hux figure coming out. So
Yeah.
but anyway, what is it about this movie? Like Star Wars in general, I know Star Wars started the whole merchandising craze for movies. It seems like anyone who's a fan of Star Wars has something from the movies. Like you're not just like, oh, I like Star Wars, I've seen those movies. You're like, I like Star Wars, I bought some t-shirts and I have an action figure and a keychain and a this and a that. Like, what is it that we got to have all this stuff to go with the movie? It's like you can't enjoy the movie without having parts of it like in your daily lives.
I really wish I could explain it. My wife is a perfect example because she liked Star Wars before we met. She'd seen the movies and she enjoyed them. Being around me and my ridiculous fandom for it, she loves Star Wars now, to the point where she sees shirts and she's like, I'm buying that shirt. She has a Pandora bracelet and it's nothing but Star Wars charms. She loves the droids. So, she wants the R2-D2 car charger and all this stuff. And it's like, I really wish I could understand what it is about that, because before, when she just kind of, I like Star Wars movies. They're fun movies. She wasn't like that.
It's like, yeah, I'll watch them.
Yeah, exactly.
That's basically where it ended.
Exactly. But now it's like, well, I got to go to Celebration. Well, I have to have the t-shirts. I have to have the car charger. It's like, the more she gets into the movies, the more she's into having it at home and in her daily life. And it's like that for everybody. Like I said, I mean, like,
and there's no end to this merchandising either. Like you're talking, I'm just looking around the basement here, and there's a candy tin on the floor. There's the Lego kits. There's headphones on my head that look like Chewbacca. There's a Xbox 360 on the floor. There's a Disney. There's 2 Disney things on the floor over there of Stitch and Goofy that are Star Wars themed. It's just like, there's no end. You name it, there's something Star Wars made of that. And between the 3 of us, we probably got a lot of it in our houses.
Yeah, right. I'm a bad one to ask, because with things that I enjoy, I am that person that goes and seeks it out. Like, like when I'm into a band, like I have their books and I have posters and I have, bootleg CDs and, Japanese releases and stuff. So I seek out extra things beyond just, the studio albums. I go seek out extra things, so I have more of that band and know more about it. And the Star Wars is the most extreme example I have, because I'm crazy about it. But there is something about it where people become such fans. It's almost like they want. I wonder if it's more of like they want more Star Wars. And since you're waiting a year or 2 between movies, you want something. You want that Star Wars
Yeah.
coming into your life. You know what I mean?
It's like that little fix on a daily basis.
Yeah, it's. I don't know how to
I gotta
explain
admit,
it.
I do geek out like when I put on my R2D2 socks. It's just a Wednesday at work, but I know I've got R2 on my feet.
Yeah,
It's the things that get you by from day to day. Like, just as you were talking about that, I was thinking about how AJ and I should go to the Lego store the day that Falcon gets released, and no intention on buying it. Get one off the shelf, just walk around the store with it.
Mm-hmm.
Just walk around with it, and then put it back on the shelf, then grab it back off real
Yeah.
quick. Kind of like a
Tease
Christmas
everybody.
time when you
Yep.
go to your car and you get that line of people waiting to get in, and then you just put something in your back seat and walk back into the mall.
Yep.
Not that I've ever done that to people before.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like
maybe, but
I mean,
but yeah, just do that with that Lego kit. How many people are going to lose their freaking minds as soon as you go, you and I can just talk while we're in the store. You know what, man? I'm just going to pass on it. Not a big deal. Just go set it back on the shelf. How many people are going to scamper over there,
right?
and then set it down? Then as soon as you take your hands off it, go, no. You know what? I'm just going to get it. I'm just going to get it. Who cares? Pick it back up, start
Right.
walking around the store again.
It's just crazy though, because we're talking about a $700 item, and this isn't a Gentle Giant statue. This isn't a 501st approved costume. This isn't for like the super hardcore fans. This is a toy.
$10 worth of molded plastic
Right, this
is-
inside of a cardboard box.
Yep.
This is a company that sells a $4 thing that you can grab at a checkout at Target, or you can get this $700 thing, and this is considered a mass release. This is not like exclusive by any means whatsoever. How did we get to the point that $700 is an acceptable, attainable price point for a piece of movie merchandise?
Well, it's not attainable, and you're going to have people. If it's the Falcon, first of all, that's a license to print money. Excuse me, and they know that. We all know that.
Yeah, I got bad news for you, buddy. I'm buying it with no thought of you in mind.
That's fine. I don't blame
I mean,
you.
you're welcome to come help me build it and do all that stuff and geek out with me.
I don't blame you.
But I gotta have it.
I mean,
I'm hooked.
Just
I'm
look
hooked.
look. All you need to know about whether or not people are going to pay it is the response to that announcement. As soon as it was like, oh, it's 4.8 times bigger.
Oh, and they're all going on Photoshop trying to see if there's like a silhouetted image like through the wrapped paper.
Yeah.
Like, I think I see the cockpit of the Falcon. It's got to be the Falcon.
Yeah. I mean,
The only thing I'll go on is on Twitter. Everybody that mentioned something about the Falcon seemed to be the only thing that Lego was replying to again. So,
boy, could you imagine if it's not the Falcon? How bad they're going to get crapped on?
yeah, you and my wife were spending all this time talking about the Dark Tower movie upstairs. What if it's the first Dark Tower Lego thing? It's just the tower. It's 8,000 black pieces to build
With a
to
bunch of
build
different spires
to build
and
a
spikes.
7-foot tall tower. That's all it is.
It comes with one minifig. It's just rolling, and you stick them at the top. It's like literally, there's nothing but black pieces and a rolling minifig.
I would love Lego so much more at that point if they just ultimately trolled every single one of their fans for a
Right.
kit like that. I'd go buy it.
They actually
just based on principle alone, I would own that.
they announced the set, and it's actually Oda Gunga. And everyone's like, "Oh, you did no, you got to be kidding!"
It's a
They
giant
made the Gungan home city.
Yeah, it's just a city within a bubble with like 20
Gungan minifigs. And one giant boss ass.
Right. That's why the box is so big, because you can't make a sphere any smaller. So it's actually like it's only like a 200-piece set.
Right.
But it costs like $700 because the box is so damn big.
And the two giant see-through bluish colored dome pieces that are in there to hold the city together.
Oh, that'd be so great. It's
Again, based on principle, then I would get it. AJ and I talked before you came downstairs. No interest whatsoever for me. The price tag is too much. I feel like it's almost a slap in the face to the people who own the original one, because we talked about cars and stuff before about how, you know, the value goes in the toilet if it's not original and stuff. This is the kind of thing that'll take that original one, and to the hardcore collectors, it's not going to change anything, but to a fair weather kind of Star Wars Lego fan, they're going to go, I'm never going to pay $5,000 for that. Why would I pay that when I can get this one for $700? So it's going to draw the value from the originals slightly, maybe, maybe it might be a lot. Who knows? Maybe these guys that got the originals are only going to get a couple of grand for it instead of $5,000 for it now. And that's huge.
Yeah,
that's
poor
a huge
babies.
price cut. Yeah, I mean it's sucks to be them, but it still sucks though.
Yeah.
So I mean it sucks to the people who have that, and they have that holy grail of Lego in their house right now that in another 10 weeks or so all of us could have it. It's kind of like you don't feel as good about owning the original anymore. It's still the original.
Well, that's why.
But you're not going to feel as cool about having that UCS Falcon anymore when from here on out, when you say, man, I got the UCS Falcon, everybody goes, which one? Yeah. And that right there sucks.
If they're making it to scale, I mean, like they did with the X-Wing or something. I mean, they could, that's probably what it would be. You would have to assume.
That is true, because even the one from 2007 is a little undersized.
Yeah.
You can only fit only two figures in the cockpit.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it though, if that's the one that they're releasing, the whole price thing, they have to do that, because you can't just go, well, we're doing this big we're going to re-release, the Falcon. People are going to go, well, I already have that.
They just did that, actually.
And look at how many.
No. I mean, they literally, the story of the Lego Death Star.
Oh, yeah.
The one that was actually in the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
That thing was I think that's the longest produced Lego set in history. It ran for 8 years. It was on the shelf for 8 years. They took it off for like 6 months, came out with a quote unquote new Death Star, had like 200 more pieces, $100 more. So 500 piece, $3,800 piece set became a $600 4,000 piece set. And there was almost nothing changed at all. Wow. Basically, they just shut down the line long enough to be able to retire all the old parts they didn't want to make anymore, replace them with the new parts, put it back out with even a larger markup.
Well, but that's what I'm saying, though.
You don't know as well as AJ and I do, but I know it's a podcast and everything. But you, John, you could turn around and look at all those Lego boxes behind you. The majority of the price on all of those is the logo on the side of the box. Because
totally.
All of those kits, if they weren't Star Wars, are probably what, AJ, at least half the price?
Well, not quite that far off. I mean, Lego still charges a premium because it's Lego.
Yeah. I mean, roughly
that's why you can buy Lepin for like a fifth of the price, because they're not Lego.
The rule of thumb was always around 10 cents a piece. In Star Wars, you can look at 13, 15 cents.
Well,
a piece,
Lucasfilm got to get their cut.
Yeah.
Well, but what I was going to say is that, people are, it's funny because, let's say this is the Falcon and it's all huge. People are going to complain, well, I can't afford $700, but those same people that are bitching that they can't afford the $700 for the giant, ultimate, greatest Millennium Falcon ever, they'd be the same ones first in line complaining if they just put out another set for, like you said, like the Death Star, where they just charged an extra $100 and added like 200 pieces. Well, that's bullcrap, man. That's basically the same thing. So those people are just not going to be happy.
True.
I mean, there's no way.
We spoke of those people a lot, when it comes to the movies, now the merchandising and all that. Just you're never going to please everybody, and there's always people that are just going to be there to bitch about whatever. So.
I mean, this is really, and this will go. We can end on this one, but it goes back to what we were talking about before. This is for completists. These are the people. Lego knows they're going to put this out and it's going to sell, because there's people that collect the Legos that are just going to go, I have to have all of it. And then you're going to have people with disposable income that know that this thing is going to be worth a ton of money down the road. They're going to buy like 4 of them. Mm-hmm. So it's not. I don't think this really is a release for the average fan. I love it, but I don't. Man, for me. Like, I'm like, oh my God, $700 for a Lego set.
I'll tell you right now, AJ, you said you have full intention on this thing and you're going to let John hang out and geek out about building it and all that. If you are dead set on this, I will go to the store with you.
Oh, we got to do it just to see it.
Because I swear to God, if there's 2 boxes in there and we go, I will grab one for nothing more than resale. I don't care.
It's honestly a smart thing to do.
I will set that thing on the floor. I have a stupid $40 X-Wing sitting on the floor down there that I got for $15 on clearance that I can sell for at least $100 on eBay right now, just because it's sitting there in a sealed box. So
See,
Screw it.
I have to admit, I
We're
would do it
talking
too.
a $700 Falcon. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? It sells for $700 a year from now.
Well, that first one,
because
right.
they mass produce the thing too damn much. So what? I'll break even on it. I don't
Yeah.
care. But
Well, I mean, it's, to close it out, it's like when we were at the one celebration, the first Ultimate Collector Series Falcon that they released, some guy had it in like AA mint condition in a hard shell clear plastic case, and it was selling for $11,000. So
well, no, it wasn't selling. It was just
it was just
on the
sitting
shelf
there.
for $11,000.
somebody bought it because it wasn't there at the end of the convention. You didn't see that?
No, I didn't see that.
Somebody bought it.
So what? I got to do like your one buddy. I got to buy it and then immediately send it out to get
Yes.
graded and just bring it back in mint condition and then set
Oh,
it
yeah.
aside and wait a decade.
Go to the store with your white cotton gloves on. You don't want any
Yeah.
finger oils on that thing at all.
Right.
Yeah, very much so. All right, well, let's close up shop with that. For not having a set topic, I think we got on some really cool stuff, so that was fun.
Hey, we can ramble.
we didn't even talk about how Snoke looks like Biff from when he got the book.
Yeah, right.
And went and, and was making all the money and stuff.
What are you looking at, butthead?
I can't believe that's the first thing I thought of when I saw that pop vinyl. I'm like, it's Biff.
Right. So anyways, thanks everyone for checking out another episode of the show. We really appreciate it. Don't forget, you can find us at nerfherdercouncil.com. Check us out on our YouTube page. You can find all of our episodes there. We are on Spreaker, Stitcher,